Hi, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Council Candidates 2017. On November 7th, Old Bridge voters will go to the polls to elect 6 candidates to the ward seats on the Township Council. And we're going to be bringing you interviews with all of these candidates here on Old Bridge Television. Our purpose is to let you hear the candidates' views on the key issues facing the Township and their specific ward, and also to give you an opportunity to become more informed before you go to vote. Today, I'd like to welcome in our guests from Ward 4. Pleased to welcome in Republican incumbent Alan Rosencrantz.
Thank you, Gene.
And next to Alan, the challenger, Democratic challenger, Mark Rosali.
Thank you, Gene.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming out. Appreciate you taking the time from your schedule. Okay, if I may start, Mark, with you, just a brief bio. Tell us a little something about yourself personally, your family, how long you've been in Old Bridge.
Sure. I'm a retired Jersey police detective. I retired as of August 1st of this year. I moved to Old Bridge in 2005. My wife, Lori, and my daughter, Gianna, who's 10 years old. I'm a former coach of the St. Ambrose track team. I'm a proud sponsor of the Saywood South Little League and the Old Bridge Rebel Football League.
Okay, and you retired as a police officer now?
Detective, yes.
What are you going to do, or are you just going to enjoy retirement?
Well, I'm very active physically. Also, my 10-year-old daughter keeps me busy.
I bet she does. Right. Okay. And Alan, I know you've been on the council for one term. People may know you, but in the event that some people do not know you,
Sure.
A little bio, if you would, please.
Sure. I came out to Old Bridge about 31 years ago, 1986. Married for 34 years to my wife, Gail. Have 2 kids, Matt and Evan. They both graduated Old Bridge High School. I used to be treasurer for Boy Scout Troop 219, as well as I served on the budget committee of my temple, Beth Thor. And in my spare time, I like to go skiing. And my full-time job is working for a major financial institution as a branch manager.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Mark, if I can go back to you for a minute, why are you choosing to run for this office at this time?
Well, I think it's numerous reasons. I think the issue here is that we're lagging in things we should be leading in, and vice versa, meaning that when you look at towns like Perth Amboy, South Amboy, Aberdeen, Keyport, economic growth, tax ratables, okay? And on the other hand, Old Bridge, it's about projects that are going to burden the taxpayer in the form of 3,000 apartments that were recently approved that my opponent actually voted for. When these projects are completed, it's going to be devastating to the existing homeowner. Now, I think the COA should have been mixed in with sale townhomes.
Okay, Alan, if you would like to just take a moment to respond to that.
Sure. The 3,000 homes or apartments or units that was that I voted for was a zoning ordinance. So the township does not build the homes. So it's state mandated, and it was in court that Old Bridge had to, all the municipalities
Right, I remember.
in New Jersey had to make a plan for affordable housing. So, being an adult and looking at the choices that you have, and it wasn't a great choice. You had to pick the best of a bad situation. Whether you go to court and fight it, spend some money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight it with no guarantee that anything was going to be reduced to zero, or the potential not to have the settlement to take 10,000 units.
Okay.
So, logically, I looked at the options. I took the advice of the professionals, the attorneys, the planners, did a little bit additional homework outside the township too, spoke to other community planners, and they said most of the municipalities are taking the settlement. And if you don't take the settlement, it could be worse.
Okay, thank you. Mark, what expertise you think you bring to the council?
Well, one, I'm a person who likes to take a stand. I'm outspoken. I think with the current situation with the heroin epidemic, I think my training.
Yeah.
I've attended high intensity drug trafficking area, John Jay School of Law. I'm DEA, FBI trained, all kinds of investigations. The fact that I'm retired now, I'll have more time to commit to the township. And I think my overall work ethic is definitely going to be a plus to the township.
Okay.
And also my communication,
Yes,
my ability to communicate with the residents.
Okay, which is very important. Okay, thank you. Alan, 4 years on the council, what have you learned?
I learned that it's very dynamic. You have people coming to the council meetings, voicing their concerns, and also showing some support. There's a lot of programs in this town that the council recognizes. You know, Camp Robin,
Yes.
The accreditation program with, you know, the police department, the accreditation with the senior center. You know, I don't know if every resident is fully aware of these things that happen within our town. So, you know, by being on the council, voting on the budget, supporting these initiatives, you know, it gives you a good sense of what's going on in town. So, you know, I'm learning and have learned what goes on.
Okay, thank you. Mark, what do you think, in your opinion, is the biggest challenge the township is facing right now? Before we get to Ward 4, what is the township facing as the big crisis right now?
Well, you know, from being out walking, speaking with residents, obviously the heroin epidemic comes up, as well as the bulk pickup has been coming up recently, recreation, you know, and also, you know, taxes that's going to be affected by the excessive amount of apartments.
Okay, and what would you say is the big issue facing Ward 4?
Ward 4, I think it's basically what it goes town-wide, but Ward 4, we have traffic issues, we have people who are concerned about public safety. When you're increasing apartments, the calls of service to your emergency services are going to increase, which in turn will force you to have to hire more police, which will eventually, you know, force you to raise taxes. I think people are concerned about being taxed out of their homes, not just in Ward 4, town-wide.
Okay, thank you. Alan, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing the township right now?
I think it's going to be traffic and taxes.
Really?
Mostly people, you know, I speak with, you know, they do have a concern with the traffic, the speeding, and the police have done a very good job, you know, monitoring the speeding and controlling it somewhat. There's going to be traffic, you know, no matter what.
Right,
we have development going on to the south of us in Morganville, in Monroe, Manalapan,
Yes, sir.
Howell. You know, Route 9 is going to be a corridor for traffic, no matter what we do or don't do in Old Bridge. As for the apartments that are coming in, hey, they're yet to be built. They may never be built. It was just zoned and approved for according to the Constitution of the state.
What about Ward 4? As you walk around Ward 4, what do you think is the big issue there?
Well, Ward 4 is slightly different than the rest of the town. Everybody's still concerned with the taxes, and I could say that the last 4 years that I've been on the council, the budget has been a stable part of the taxes. You know, we've increased taxes somewhat, but very stable. And for the value that you're getting, a police force, a Department of Public Works, they expanded the recycling program. They're taking in more refuse, really, than what the normal homeowner would be able to put out in their regular trash. So, you know, we are taking some stuff in. The program has expanded, and we get a good value for our tax dollar.
Okay, I take it we're talking about our township taxes that we can control, as opposed to property taxes, which are sort of a gamble in a way, huh? The property taxes, what can we do about the property taxes? This has always been sort of an issue here. And Mark, you can answer that if you will. You know, it's always, every time we go through this, property taxes always come up. But how much can we, the council, how much can the mayor do?
Well, I think it's
with property taxes?
I think it's about the administration aggressively seeking economic growth, tax rateables. You know, Old Bridge is plagued with a lot of empty stores. I think, you know, there needs to be a program that can start, you know, working hard and aggressively filling the empty stores. It's just, well, it's all about tax rateables. You know, anyone can be all about excuses. You can. And this administration has been lax when it comes to economic growth.
Okay.
Alan, I disagree with that.
What do you think?
We have an Office of Economic Development with a full-time director who is in charge of bringing in business and rateables to the township. We have a development going on Waterworks Road, warehouse development, in part of the redevelopment section. So businesses are coming in. Mayor Henry has cut many new ribbons on stores and businesses in this town in the last 5-6 years. So, you know, the hospital has expanded. You know, Old Bridge Regional Hospital, Raritan Bay. You know, that's expanded. So, you know, that alone is a draw to the township. And, you know, the empty stores, you know, that's business decisions for the stores. More and more people are buying their items online. It gives them less of an opportunity to get into the store unless it's food, service, or, you know, a card store or something, or flowers or food.
Right. Mark, what would you do about this situation. Do you have any thoughts, steps you would take on the council if you were elected to address some of these issues you brought up about recreation, about gradables, about the Economic Development Office?
Well, first off, the recreation part, I think we should help all the leagues any way possible to make their lives a lot easier. You know, a lot of them do a lot of fundraising. I think the township should assist them any way possible. And listen, I think the most important thing is children having things to do. We hear that so often.
Yeah.
And by expanding our recreational program, by helping the leagues, if we own a field, we should help. We should cut the field. We should maintain it if possible, any way to help them. As far as the economic growth, I've been at a council meeting where that individual spoke, and all I heard was I've been speaking to so many different people about coming in. Well, I never heard of him. I never heard of any names of who's coming in. He stepped down after answering the question. He never answered any questions. So who were they bringing in?
Okay, would you
Okay,
be...
but you're talking about tax ratables. Look
Yes,
at a
sir.
town, I'll tell you, a town in Middlesex County, Carteret, developing their waterfront, lowered the taxes, tax ratables. That's what we need to do. Take an aggressive approach to bringing tax ratables into this town. Not going around cutting ribbons on pizzerias. Aggressive tax ratables need to be brought into this town. We need to aggressively work for that.
What do you think lures a customer in, or a client, a new client, or a new customer into Old Bridge?
Listen, I
What
think
would bring them here?
I think we have great proximity road-wise, Route 18, with proximity to the Parkway, to the Turnpike. I think, you know, when you look at our hospital, we have hospitals that we have 10 to 15 minute ride to a hospital with a trauma center. I mean, there's a lot of things that Old Bridge can offer to a business.
Okay, thank you. If you would hold your thoughts just a moment, please. Folks, we're getting ready to take a break right now. We're talking with our candidates from Ward 4, Alan Rosencrantz, the Republican incumbent, and the challenger, the Democrat, Mark Roselli. Thank you very much for watching. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Bowl.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Council Candidate 2017. Today, our guests are from Ward 4, the challenger, Mark Roselli, and the incumbent, the Republican, Alan Rosencrantz. Gentlemen, again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, one thing, we've discussed a number of issues. We've sort of skipped over one very popular right now in the township, for unfortunate reasons, and that is opioid abuse.
Right.
What do we do? What do you think, Mark, as an ex-policeman?
Well, I think, it's an ABC approach. It's education, enforcement, and treatment.
Okay.
And also, it's an issue that sometimes it's going to require thinking out of the box. Partnering with, we have a great superintendent, Sedadino, partnering with the Board of Education.
Right.
We have to get to these children as young as possible so they can know the dangers. And enforcement, it's really simple. Drug dealers need to go to jail. They shouldn't be able to operate and feel comfortable operating in the township.
Right.
And treatment, any way we can help an individual get treatment, any type of resources we can refer them to. I mean, and I can't stress that more. Drug dealers need to be arrested.
Okay. Alan, you've been on the council for 4 years. You've been looking at this a little closer up than most of us. What do you think?
Absolutely, what Mark says, education. We have to educate the youth. There are programs in the school system that do educate them.
Right.
There's seminars that we've put on in Township, forums, 3 or 4 times a year, to have somebody come in and educate the parents to what to look for. Because a lot of parents, may not hit on what a child may use to get high or something.
Right.
And it's not just the kids, it's also the adults in town too. So yeah, we need the strong police force that we have and the education that goes along with it, the partnering that we have with Woodbridge Township to as a recovery coach. When somebody's brought into a facility that's OD'd, we have Narcan and all our police vehicles and as well as the EMS. So, saves are going on in town. The education is going on. We could do as much as we could do. It's not only a problem for Old Bridge, but for the county, the state, and the country as well.
I know it's just appalling. It really is when you look at it. That these young people are dying with this. I don't know. It's really a tough one, gentlemen. One thing, a lot of criticism sometimes about the way decisions are made here in the township at the council level. They're politicized sometimes. It becomes a Republican issue, it becomes a Democratic issue. Aren't there some issues in this township, and I think we may have just touched on one, that are township issues regardless of party? What do you think, Mark?
Listen, I think all issues when it concerns the township should be bipartisan. I think, myself, I'll make all decisions that is extremely important to helping the residents of Old Bridge. The party affiliations are relevant. It's all about what's best for the residents.
Okay. Alan, you've been there.
Yeah, the party affiliation can help and can hinder at times.
Right.
But we are elected to serve our ward and do what's best for our ward, regardless of party. And I think we've done that on the council right now. I've done that, and looking at the full aspect of what we have to work with, whether it be the budget and the services delivered to the residents. So we're working for the residents.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Alan, one thing, you've been there. Do you think one person, you, Mark, can make a difference sitting up there out of 9 people?
Yeah,
can you?
Absolutely.
And how can you do that?
Absolutely, by influence. If you have the right information and you look at things like, as Mark would say, outside the box, it takes one person to maybe convince 8 others. So if you have the right background and the right information, somebody could be missing something that could be very important. That light bulb goes off on somebody's head.
Okay. What do you think, Mark?
No, I agree with Alan. I mean, listen, if one person can make a difference. I mean, if something's wrong, I know I'm going to be outspoken, and if you supply the data to your council colleagues, I'm sure you'll be able to get the right decision, what's best for the residents.
Okay. What do you think about the governor race being at the top of the ticket? Is that going to be a help or hindrance, Mark? Let me turn to you
I'll be
on
honest,
that.
it's irrelevant to me. I'm concerned about Old Bridge, my campaign.
You don't think having the governor issue at the top is going to be influence, bring out more voters?
I'm not concerned about it at all. I'm concerned about Old Bridge.
Okay. Alan?
I'm not concerned about who's at the top of the ticket. It is a local race down here in Old Bridge.
Yes.
People need to know, what was accomplished in the last 4 years while I served on the council. So, I'm hoping that my message does get out or is getting out when I meet the residents.
Okay. Mark, how do you think you differ from Alan?
I think my personnel more proactive. I take a more proactive approach. I don't think I don't sit back and remain silent. I know there's been a few occasions I've attended council meetings where certain council members have really treated residents in an unprofessional manner and colleagues. And I think, the residents need to know I will not sit back and tolerate any council person disrespecting him or her. They take their time out to come to a council meeting. Issues that we may think that may not be important, but that's important to him or her. It's important to a resident. And I think, as a councilman, I would definitely not allow another council member to talk to someone in the manner in which people have been getting talked about at our council meetings.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Alan, what do you think? How do you differ most from Mark, your position,
I just
your
want
philosophy?
to address something that Mark said. Everybody's very passionate. There's
Yeah,
9
definitely.
there's 9 personalities up there.
Right.
Everybody's more
Yes,
everybody's
sir.
passionate.
Right.
And they all want to be heard. Every one of us wants to be heard, and we do take a different approach on how that's projected to each other. It's unfortunate that sometimes we get overheated.
Right.
But we're there for the residents.
That's a good word, overheated. I like that.
Okay.
Okay. Gentlemen.
Well, I just wanted to follow
yes,
up on
please.
that. I disagree.
Mark,
I think
okay.
overheat is just a poor excuse for being disrespectful. Listen, if you don't respect the people who you elected to serve, you don't respect your colleagues, you're not going to accomplish anything. Okay? Myself, I've had profanities directed at me during council meetings. People can deny it all they want, but that's just a fact of reality. Okay? Overheated is I call that unprofessional.
Okay, not just enthusiastic or...
No.
Alan, where were you going with overheated?
The passion that comes out from
passion that
each one
comes
of
out.
us, all right? And yes, it could be directed to another council person.
Right.
When people have emotions, and sometimes it's difficult to control your emotions.
That's true, and it does become an emotional
So
issue.
I think my emotions have been in check. So if Mark was referring to me, I don't know where he was going with that.
I wasn't referring to you.
Okay. Are there any issues that should be partisan issues? Or should every issue be treated as a non-partisan?
Listen, every issue should be nonpartisan. If there's an issue with the council, that means it's important to for the residents of Old Bridge. So I look at it, any decision I make is going to be in the best interest of the residents.
Okay.
Party affiliations are relevant to me.
Okay.
I think we
agree on that.
We mentioned that, yeah.
You agree with that? Okay. Now, the magic moment comes. If you would be so kind to think a moment and tell the residents at home, Mark, if I may lead with you.
Sure.
Why should people send you to the council?
Well, number one, I think I'm a dedicated person. I'm a hard worker. If elected to the council, I will not take the $30,000 plus health care package that's paid for by the taxpayers like my opponent does. I'm committed to opening a line of communication with the resident. The one thing my law enforcement career taught me is that the best eyes and ears are the people of the community. Okay? I'm about opening doors, not slamming them on people. With that said, thank you.
Okay. And Alan, what do you think?
Sure.
Why should people send you back to the council for a second term?
The last 4 years that I've been on the council, we've made a lot of progress in Old Bridge. And the programs that we've had, the energy program where we save residents money, we bundle the energy up. It's a savings to the residents. I think Old Bridge card. There's a lot of programs that participate with local businesses to encourage people to shop in Old Bridge. The development that's going on with bringing new business into town. One just has to look maybe at the latest the Grillstone restaurant on 516 that's been abandoned for a number of years.
A long time, yeah.
So now we got a nice family restaurant coming in there. Our taxes have been stable, and the programs that we have in town, the rec programs, the baseball, soccer, football programs, the ice arena, Camp Robin. It's just so much going that I've contributed to in the last 4 years, and I'd like to do more.
Okay, good. One last question. When you walk around the township, what are the voters telling you? When you knock on doors, and I know you gentlemen do a lot of that, what do you hear from the voters right now?
Well, besides taxes, concerns have been the conduct of the council, going back and forth, fighting, arguing. Bulk pickup has come up quite often.
Bulk pickup, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, we discussed it in Atlanta, the heroin issue.
Right, the heroin issue, yeah.
Concern. Public safety is always a concern.
Okay.
I think, that's, the two pillars of any community are public safety and education. That's what maintains your tax base.
Right. Okay. Well said. Alan, what are your voters, your residents saying in Ward 4 to you?
What they're saying to me is the taxes. And, and I explain where the taxes are. But, the municipality, out of each dollar that you pay for taxes, the municipality gets 20 or 21 cents. And the rest of it is divided.
I know, we always look at that.
Amongst the county, the fire, the library, Board of Ed. So, again, I'm going to say the value and the education that we could give to the residents, is a great deal. They're responding when they're explained to, how the tax dollar is divvied up and what's left to run the town with.
Okay, thank you, Mark. You were going to add something to that, or?
Oh, listen, my only comment on the stabilizing taxes, I just, to the taxpayer, if you're paying the same amount for property taxes you were 4 years ago that you are now, then you would know the answer whether or not the taxes are stable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Finally, I have one big question. If people are going to vote for you, Mark, where are they going to look for you on the ballot?
I will be on line B.
Line B, column B, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, and Alan? Republicans?
Republicans are going to be on line A.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for coming out today. I want to wish you the very best of luck on the campaign trail. Folks, we've been talking to Ellen Rosencrantz, who is the Republican incumbent, who's currently serving on the council, and the challenger, Mark Roselli, the Democrat. Okay, we want to thank you for watching, and we want to urge you to continue to watch Old Bridge Television, because we're bringing you interviews with all of the candidates right here. You can see them here on Old Bridge 15, on Fios 22, and they will also be posted on YouTube. Please watch the bulletin board for the exact time and date when your exact council candidates will be appearing. Again, thank you for watching. We'll see you again on another candidate program. I'm Gene McLaughlin. Take care.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Donate stuff, create jobs.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.